Hi, this is Travis in the Uncanny Valley. I'm going to talk about the fractal level of detail that is at play in so many aspects of my mind and my life. And symptomatically, the way that comes up most often is how much I've been told that I get too focused on the details, or that I am not looking at the big picture, or I can't see the big picture, or um, all these other similar phrasings that are based off an arbitrary, um, typically accepted level of detail at which uh, the majority of neurotypicals anticipate and correctly get the expected level of detail from each other. So, the way I understand that my mind works in so many areas is more like a Mandelbrot fractal. Like if you, I'll maybe put a link in the description. So like it's a seemingly endless level of detail. I mean, it can, trying to think of a couple things that can look like. So at work, it can look like you get focused on the smallest detail of, if you're building something, it can look like you got lost in the fine detail, um, and didn't see the bigger picture of stuff that needs to get done. But I would argue, and I have put forth before, that well, clearly define your expectations, and I can work within that, or which often exposes that there is no thought out, um, spelled out expectation. It's just that it's so used to being expected and met, um, either with good management or with mismanagement, and yelling or fear, whatever it is. There's enough of a history of those expectations getting met that it's just put forth that you're getting too focused on the details. Anyways, so that it can look like you're getting lost in the minutia of your project, when in fact there is no delineated goal, no spelled out expectation. Um, Another thing that can look like is like you don't know, like you keep stuff past its usefulness. Well, the problem there is, like, I'll just use clothes. So, clothing, I was going to say pants, like if I could show you my pants, but like this is a shirt and I think it's got holes in it. Yeah, it's probably got holes in it. But like this shirt is still serving its usefulness. Like, from a social standpoint, most people probably wouldn't wear a shirt with holes in it out in public, but like it's still, every shirt has that. Every normal shirt that you're going to buy in a store has a minimum of 4 holes in it, and that's how you get your body in and out of it. That's how you get your body in and your arms and head out, and then reverse it when you're done. So like it's just the number of holes that a shirt is going to have in it that makes it acceptable. So I have one here that nothing is going in or out of, and somewhere, yeah. So that means people think you shouldn't wear it in public, or you should throw it away or something. But it so that can look like holding on to things past their usefulness. Because this isn't a sentimental shirt, for instance. But pants are especially that way because, if you work in construction or something, pants get a hole in it. Like, well, it's a utilitarian object. It's not. fashion for most people working construction, and so it retains its usefulness, but then when you work construction, for instance, you have a long history of, well, I'm not going to throw these pants away because they just have a hole in them. Well, they just have 2 holes in them. They just have 3 holes in them. And it's like, well, because I was captivated as a teenager by the the mechanism, the internal mechanisms of a sewing machine. Like, um, I wanted to learn to sew. So, like, okay, well, now I know how to sew with a sewing machine and hand, of course, too. But like, I know how to use a sewing machine, so I could theoretically mend all my clothing. So now it's just a matter of willpower of whether I fix my clothing or throw it out. So I have a stack of clothes that I can't wear that I could mend, that I don't know if it would take something like a very long blizzard or something that would confine me to where I would actually mend those clothes. Um, but I could, so it can look like you're holding on to things past their usefulness when it's really just it's kind of a fractal way of looking at um, how your time will get used, and it's unknowable. It's up to you, but uh, I kind of decide that as I go, and it feels like a Mandelbrot fractal. And it's like you can get lost in time, and well, I might go this way, and I might go that way, and um, it can look like an ADHD thing when it's just um, I'm going to decide now. I'm going to decide now what I do now, and if what I'm deciding to do takes 2 hours, then I'm going to do that for 2 hours or until it's completed, and then I'm going to decide what to do next. Um, so it can look a bit unfocused at times, but um, another thing that could look like is uh, in that same vein of keeping things past their usefulness is like um, like recycling, for instance. Like I had I've heard people I know and others that uh, struggle with like feeling like you have to recycle everything. Like they're too anal about uh, needing to recycle everything, and I've gotten that way. But it's like I kind of if there's it's hard for me to stay clean and organized and tidy because the thing I heard long ago is that everything should have a place and everything should be in its place. Well, I'm desperate for that. I've been desperate for that for decades. So if something has a place, I'm eager to put it in its place. And if that is in a recycling bin, then I want to make sure it goes to the recycling bin because that's the best, ultimately, more often than not, that is the best use of the resources, the embodied energy that are within that product. So, it's just, everything has that fractal aspect to it. So I'm going to probably revisit this, do a part 2 when I think of a lot more things, but like this was good for me to get out.